Hey, what's up, guys? All right. Somebody asked me, we were talking about spanners and chain brakes and stuff like that, and I made a comment on how I just peen my rivets over on my chains and make them myself. So I've got a tree job to do tomorrow. Thinking I'm going to do it with 42 Oregon. They're real big maples. So it's yardwood, and some of the maples have had signs hanging on them and stuff like that. So I'm going to make up a skip tooth chain for that 42. I don't use a skip tooth very much, and I've got a roll of it, so I'll use it for that. For all my milling, I use full comp, and this is full chisel chain. I made it up for I don't know if you can see back here, my 56-inch bar, that Forester bar. When I first got it, not knowing how that was going to pull full comp, and what I found out was that it pulls full comp fine, so I don't need the full chisel skip for milling. What I did was I went ahead and filed the teeth over to 10 degrees, and the full skip is just way too chattery for milling, so I don't use it very much. So I'm going to make up 135 drive link loop for that DO25 Oregon right there, and probably run it on the new 660 I just built right there, just because I got the 3/4 wrap on it. So anyway, before this gets long, I'm going to show you how I do my chains. Hopefully there won't be a ton of wind noise here, and this will sound okay because it's blowing like hell out right now. But right now it's kind of quiet, so let's see if we can do it. But basically, for those of you that don't know, that's what a loop looks like. I mean, a roll looks like. This is Archer chain, which I have absolutely no problem with. The thing I do like about Archer chain is it comes really sharp, but if you look at that tooth right there, there's a ton of hook on it. So, you can wipe this chain out real easy. It'll dig like hell when you first put it in the wood, but it's going to wipe out real easy with that big a hook on it. So a few filings in and it'll get worn in. So what I do is 135 drive links. I go along, count out my drive links, and I mark every 10th one. For those of you that don't know, this is a drive link right here. Goes in the sprocket on your saw, drives the chain. These are tie straps. You can see the two rivets, obviously your cutters, and drags, rakers, depth gauges, whatever you want to call them, whatever you were taught. I was taught drags, so I call them drags. So I mark every 10, go around with a Sharpie, and I'll just do one double check before I cut it. But this is the 135th drive link right here, so that's where I want to keep it. I'm going to grind off these two rivets, just punch them out with a center punch right here, using a ball peen hammer right there. So I'll grind those off flush, punch them out, and then in here I've got a whole ton of 3/8 tie strap links. I'll get one of those out, and we will use that chunk of plate right there to peen over the rivets with this ball peen hammer using the side, and we'll have a chain. So I've never had one break. This is how I was taught to do it. This is how I do it. I only do it on my big chains because the small chains are so cheap that it's just not cost effective on little, 20-inch bars, 72 drive link chains. I guess it would be, but I run 063 on all my big bars, and I run 058 on my small bars, so I don't usually make up chains for my small bars. I've got so many over the years that all I really make up on my big ones. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get you guys set up. Sorry, this is going to get a little bit long, but hopefully the wind noise won't be too bad, and I'll grind that off, punch them out, and we'll make it up. So See if I can get you guys set up where you're going to be able to see. Stupid mount here. Hopefully it doesn't blow over. Where's that blue? It's right there. Okay, so we'll go with it from here. It's going to get a little noisy for a second. Now, you could clamp this down. I'm going to try it without clamping it down first, and if it moves around at all, I'll clamp it down. All right, so that's all there is to that part of it. See if you guys can, okay, good. You can still see it. Let me get just kind of set up over here. Actually, let me move this to where I can punch it out. So one thing that I'll do is typically my bench has a million holes in it from drilling holes and crap. So what I'll do is I'll drill a couple of holes really quick. You don't have to do this. They'll punch out just the way they are. Wow, that bit's dull. We can get one just right to the side of that. So I was trying to do it with one hand. Just trying to make a little divot in the bench. So something about the size of the straps there. Let me get you set up so you can see that. Move these blocks here, and I'll show you why I got those blocks in a minute. Okay, now I am going to apologize that when I start hitting on this thing, you're probably going to move around a little bit. So we're not going for video quality here, we're going for content. So basically, I'll line it right up. You can see, I don't know if you guys can see, I'll get a close-up. You can see, hopefully you guys can see that. You can see the outline of where the rivets are. And really you just want to grind it down flush. I used a cutting disc just because that's what was on my thing. You can use a grinding disc if you want. It's not hard to hold on to. So basically just put it on top of the rivet. Punch it out. Here, so you don't need a chain brake. You can see how long that took me. I'm sitting here working out on the bench, so that's done. Now the chain's broken. This drive link is garbage. Can't use that tie strap anymore. So now I'm gonna go off camera for a second here just as I pull it over, and then I'll remove you guys. Okay, now I'm gonna get you set up over here, and hopefully this isn't gonna be like wicked bumpy. If it is, I'm gonna move you. You know what? Maybe I can set up. Sorry about this. This is down and dirty. If I put this garbage pail here, maybe I can sit. Yeah, this will be good. I'm gonna set you up right here. This way you won't be bouncing around when I'm doing it. Hopefully this thing won't fall off. Nope, it's not holding very well. Damn it. Try it right here. So what I'll do is I'm going to leave you there for a minute while I get set up for this, and then when I'm when I'm peening on it, maybe I'll move you over closer and get you a straight view down, because this isn't hard. Let me move my drink or it's going to fall down. This isn't hard. It doesn't take a lot. There's a couple things that I've learned to make it easier, is that on a long chains like this, if you can kind of support the chain a little bit on the side here, it makes it a little bit easier. Find some drive links. I should have got these out first so that you didn't have to sit around and wait and watch me pull out a bag of drive links, but the wind's blowing so hard I was afraid it was going to blow away. So these are, oh shit. All right, let me put you right here for a second. Damn it. Sorry guys. I'm going to put you right there for a second. Let me see how that looks. Okay, you can see good here. It's not sitting good on that garbage pail just because it's smooth on the top. But all right, so we got these are all 3/8. Let's see what ones I get in here. Maybe I got some Archer ones. Let's choose one of these. Strap. Yeah, these are Archer actually. So what we want to do is get this one in through the bottom like that. These are Archers, so we'll get this over the top. I don't drop it. Like that. And I'm just going to put these away really quick because they're going to blow off here if the wind blows. It's blowing like 35 miles an hour out right now. I know right now it's kind of calm, but it's 60 degrees here in Massachusetts. So what you want to do now is basically hold this link down, and I'm going to peen over one side, and you may not bounce around very much just because this block's so solid. Now, what happens with me is my fingers get in the way. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll get a little screwdriver. You can see this one right here. It's one of my adjusting screwdrivers. And you can kind of just use your finger to hold it down, because you want to keep that link down. And you kind of hit around the outside. Now the first one's going to be the hardest. Hopefully this isn't like a monkey fucking a football here, sorry. The first one's going to be the hardest. The second one only takes a few seconds, really. Just because this one's going to want to try to slip out, but... I'm peeing around the outside. Maybe should have got a bigger screwdriver. You can kind of feel how it goes, and actually you can see it mushrooming over now. If you see it kind of getting thin, just kind of peen to the outside a little bit. Keep going. What I typically do is I'll stop and check it and just make sure it's not binding, which it's not. It's almost done. This actually would hold it the way it is right now. So that one's basically done. I'm going to do the other one right now. And then maybe just put a few hits on, I'll check them and put a few hits on them both. So now it'll hold the chain in place. So basically just peening around the outside. It's not like gotta be super accurate. You could do this on the flat spot on a vise, a little anvil if you have one. I kind of use this for dressing bars. It's hardened, or dressing bars, like closing up bar rails, straightening handsaw plates, all kinds of stuff like that. So now these rivets are basically done. Just want to make sure that they're not binding at all. This front one is just a little, actually the stock rivets are tighter than the ones that I just peened right now. I'm going to peen them a little bit more. Just make sure I don't hit the cutter there. Now I'm kind of just concentrating on the edges, trying to mushroom it out. If you want to do it with a little ball peen hammer, that's fine. It really is, it's not very hard. It's not super critical. That's nice and tight right now. So that link's done. I'll get you close up. This is the one that I peened right here. And that chain's done. 135 drive links. So that's as hard as it is. Maybe I'll maybe do a video a little bit later on cutting with this. I'll definitely do some videos tomorrow when I take them down, because I got 3 monster maples to take down. I've got the insurance coming to the house. I got to take that one down right there. And sorry, for those of you who wanted just to see the peening, you can sign off now, because I'll go a couple more minutes here on what I'm taking down here. So I'm taking down this one. It's a Norway maple. It's, if I had to give you a guess, it's about 38 maybe across right there. And it's going to be a little bit of a problem tree, because look at this. So it's pretty rotted out in the middle. You just want to make sure that it doesn't fall on the house. And I've got insurance people coming to reassess us, so I'm going to take this one down. I'm going to drop it right in there, right next to those maple logs you see up there, and drop it right down there. My splitter's actually sitting there, so I'll mill some of the sections that aren't rotted, and the rest of it will end up being firewood. It's probably 100 feet tall. I'm going to take down this one right here. It's coming apart on the top. It's hard leaning over towards, if you see in our backyard, you see that deck over there. It's hard leaning just inside, kind of right near that, towards that holly tree. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to side cut this one. I don't know, I wish I could show you the, I don't know if this shows how good the lean is, but that's the lean right there, leaning out at that holly tree. I'm gonna wedge this one on the side bottom here and drop it right through there towards that Norway maple that collapsed in the background. So I'm gonna drop it right through here, right next to that white cedar stack. And it looks like it's got some good butt sections to mill here, and hopefully there's not a lot rotten in it. And the rest will be firewood. And then if you see that big one over here by the house, that one that's right next to the house, we're going to take that one apart too. I have to climb a section on the back side, but I'm going to take all this front stuff off it, the stuff that's leaning anywhere out over the yard here. So let's see here, see this section here. These are kind of ones leaning out in the yard. This section right here, this heavy section's leaning out in the yard there. And then this section right here is kind of leaning straight over at the garage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off at the bottom right there, let this heavy section pull that double crotch right there right down in the yard, and hopefully drop it right on that ash bench right there. I'll move the bench obviously, but hopefully that's where it's going to end up. And then that back section is leaning hard out over the shed and over my old refrigerator unit right there that I use to lock up all my saws. I'll side notch that one and drop it out here in the yard too. Hopefully that one's going to be it's a lot of weight out, so it's going to kind of be a funky notch there. leave a lot of Holden wood on the top side and try and get it to drop dead sideways, but I'll be able to see it better after I drop this section off it. And then this one here I have to climb and take apart. So I'm going to climb up and take it apart from the top, drop it all right here, and then chunk it all the way down. It's kind of leaning out over the engineering building here. And there's just one little section here that can hit the roof. So you know, they're all dying. They're at the end of their life cycle, and there's pieces falling off. You can see the pieces all over the ground. And you can see all the pieces that have come out of the top of that one. That one over there I got to take down too, but it's this one right here. But it's not any danger to the house. So this one's not really any danger to the house either, but I just want to do it while I'm at it. So we'll get a bunch more firewood, and yeah, so that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you all have a great day. See our tree house up there. That's pretty cool. It's a tree house deck. And you guys all stay safe out there. And as far as the spinners and the chain brakes and stuff, I've never really used one. I was taught to do it the way I just did it, and it's that easy. So hope that helps some of you. Thanks. Have a great day.